All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first iteration of, well, actually, this isn't the first Small Loan Studios podcast we've done. We've actually had our wonderful devlogs, and which very much inspired the moment, everything culminating to the very end. My name is Armoni, and I am the marketing lead here at Small Loan Studios, and I'm joined with Najma Salam, the creative director for Small Loan, aka the marketing savant, aka the creative alchemist artificer. Yes, you. We found you. You've been discovered. We will absolutely thank you so much for coming on. We are really excited to delve into your mind and to what went into developing such a project. But please tell the good people about yourself, what you've done on the Ouroboros Express.
What have I done? What have
Everything.
everything we know it all? Hi, I'm Najma Salam, but you can call me Naj. And yes, I was the creative director, sometimes shortened to just director if we're feeling cute, of the Ouroboros Express. And I do various things around Small Loan Studio as well. I do a little bit of this, I do a little bit of that. I, of course, have a day job currently as head of brand at Into Games as well. But that's by the by. We do it all. We are multifaceted creatures, all of us. You included, our
Absolutely.
money.
Oh, well, that's just the life of a generalist. Just like I do 15 things, but in this moment, this is what
Yeah,
like a bunch of aliases.
exactly.
This is the hat I have on, and if you see me with another hat elsewhere, don't say anything. You know who I am.
Yeah, sure.
But yes, your work with Into Games is absolutely incredible, as well as all the things you've done for Small Loan thus far. Like genuinely, it's incredible to work and with such a vibrant, kind, and incredibly knowledgeable person, and we're all the much better for it. So we recently actually finished the postmortem for the game,
Yes.
and so many creative insights from the team, which I'm really proud to that we can have one because not every game gets to have postmortem, and on top of that, not every game gets a public facing postmortem, but like
Mm-hmm.
we're kind of trying to do. So, with being a creative director and having this postmortem, what were your thoughts? What were
What
your
were
greatest
my
thoughts
thoughts? Yeah,
in
for
terms of
sure.
like what did you do and like what the highest highs and the lowest lows? I'd love to
Yeah.
hear some of your thoughts on the things that we've covered.
So for the postmortem, I think my the top thought I had after we finished, we hung up after the postmortem was like, God, this is such a good group of people.
Hmm.
Oh, I love working with them because even in the chat after in the Discord server, we had people like feeling a bit emotional just being in the same room with you all again, just like really lovely, positive stuff. So I think it felt really productive. I feel like I got to hear directly from people giving their feedback, which is really nice. And everyone was so constructive and very helpful just in general as well, in terms of like, here's some feedback, here's what we could possibly do to address this in the future, or here's some ideas I had, which is really important because I personally think if you have a feedback but it's actually a complaint with a trench coat on and you're not providing any solutions, then it's just whinging. It's like, I think it's really important to always be like, hey, maybe here's something we could have done instead, for like a post-mortem at least. So yeah, those were the top thoughts. I think even on the messy stuff, like the mistakes were made, or like things that didn't work as well as they should have, we really, I think the team was just so great and generous with each other. Uh, some were very keen to like blame themselves. It's like, hey, we're not doing
Stop
that.
that.
Stop that. We are all in this together.
We should. No blame. Even
No blame.
personal blame.
Yeah, exactly. We are
Relax.
not doing that here. No. But that's the thing with working with really nice, kind people. They're always like so the first to be like, I'll take accountability for this thing that happened. It's just like, no, it's okay. We're just here to like talk through like a very understandable thing that happens, especially when you have like a big team. So yeah, that was like the warm fuzzy feelings I had about the postmortem.
Absolutely. And I think like that I remember a TikTok by Xavier Nelson Jr., RIP TikTok. Maybe,
Mm-hmm.
we don't know, but in case you're
Yeah.
in case you're gone, we'll pour one out. But I think it was just like we don't always get to celebrate a game. release.
Mm.
Sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
just hunker down into what you have to do in the next time. Like you spent all these hours working on a project and
Yes.
you eventually just
Yeah.
go, all right, well, that was cool. I
Yeah.
do think this postmortem was felt like a celebration of sorts, in addition
It
to the actual
did.
release, because like the Steam release was a hefty thing. That is not something to discount at all.
Yeah.
And even just like post patches, all of the things were happening, which it feels like a
Mm-hmm.
very big deal. And I'm glad you got to have those warm, fizzy feelings. I know for me, the postmortem was really eye-opening as well, where everyone was just super kind, super open.
Mm.
I know I understand the feeling of being ready to be like, that was my fault, my bad, because I'm also in the
Yeah.
forum of my peers, and it's kind of hard to convey, I do care that I messed up in a virtual setting
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
versus like face to face on a video call. My bad, big dog. I did not mean to do you like that. There was no way. I should not have. My sincerest apologies. But
Yeah.
and I do wonder. I would like to know, even with like as of things, what was like one of the favorite points that we kind of covered during the postmortem meeting?
Yeah, I mean, so this isn't a secret at all. Like we say, we're going to be pretty open about the things we feel like we could have done better and the things we did do well over production, I guess over the next session. So none of what I'm saying is like a secret per se. But we definitely had issues with like surrounding voiceover production, mainly to do with like workflows and like pipelines. And that was really down to, us biting off more than we could chew because for a lot of us it was the first time having voiceover on a project.
Hmm.
And not only this was this our first time having voiceover on a project of this scale as well. So like what, close to 5,000, if not 5,000 voice lines in a game. And if you think there's like recording, processing, editing, like all of that stuff has to happen in the implementation. So obviously stuff was going to be missed and they were like, yeah, some things that didn't work as well as they should have. But my favorite part was like how so many people on the team yesterday on the postmortem was so quick to be like, oh, maybe we could do this. Oh, maybe we could do that. So it was like that was really nice to see everyone like still working together as a team even after like the project has essentially wrapped as well. Everyone was still collaborating on like, okay, well, the next time we do this, what could we have done? Oh, what's the cool thing? And even down to like Noah, our amazing sound designer, he
Shout
was
out
like,
Noah.
yeah,
Hmm.
like love you, Noah. But yeah, he was so good about. He was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna write guides, and I've got like a like checklist together. Like he's still working on like, oh, how can I optimize my process for next time as well. So that was really my favorite part.
I agree. I think to your earlier point about like the feedback in a trench coat, the critique or complaint in a trench coat, it's
Yeah,
not a complaint in a trench coat when it's offering solutions, offering
yeah.
ways to be better. And I did like part of our postmortem process for the game was talking about, okay, next time, or how would we improve? What do we do? And having
Mm-hmm.
all of these guys and all these knowledge base, like just building our knowledge base rather, feels like such a refreshing take to move forward
Mm-hmm.
because in my opinion, it shows that we're all invested in each other, right? Like we're all here to make good games, and
Mm-hmm.
work with each other. And
Yeah.
you're right, that voice, I'm not gonna lie, that voiceover, just the sheer amount of work. Like I don't know what they're eating over there at the Toontown Reborn crew, but
God,
are
they're cooking.
they're
They're the
cooking.
most hench like creatives I've ever met. Lindsay, Noah, my goodness,
Oh my
yeah.
God. Yeah, it's so funny because it's just like it's impressive and scary seeing
Yeah.
them work because they're just like they're not even talking. They're just like mind meld and they're just like you need that yeah, and also make sure the file and
Yep.
don't forget
Yeah.
that yep, send and I'm like, oh
Yeah, you were a lot closer to that than I was as well. But even from the outside, I was like, oh my God, what is happening over
I
there?
can't even say I was like I was making music. They were
Uh-huh.
editing voice lines. Like they
Uh-huh.
were on a different plane of work. And I was just like
They were
sitting here
ascending.
twiddling my thumbs and I'm like, "Oh, well, here's some music. Here's
Yeah.
more music. Is that good, Noah? Okay, I'm gonna sit right here. I won't get in the way." But
Uh-huh.
like they were doing some really really cool stuff. And I
Man.
agree. I think also like I think it speaks to like small loan in general, like just the whole mission of the studio and upskilling a lot of our fellow devs. The amount of rigor and the amount of work that goes into some of these games,
Yeah.
it feels like we intentionally put that on ourselves because we
Yeah.
wanted to. I think someone called it like a studio simulator, where we really wanted to have like that studio level rigor, so that if you were thrown in to that potential job in the future, it would not feel like you're misstepping and misplaced. And
Yeah, yeah.
with that, I want to say, like, or I want to ask rather, being a creative director, it means so many different things in different contexts.
Mm-hmm.
Creative director at a fashion house versus creative director at a, well, game studio. So
Mm-hmm.
how do you kind of view yourself and view your day to day as a creative director in a small loan studios, aka
It's fun
Studio
city.
Sim, aka your friendly neighborhood
Yeah,
studio?
your friendly neighborhood studio. Yeah, sure. So like specifically for the Ouroboros Express, I think every project is different. I think every project demands different things of the team and just generally like resource and what's needed. I think for the Ouroboros Express, what was really needed was because of the sheer amount of people. I think the more people, the stronger the vision has to be, so people know like can immediately get what it is. Like I think like with a smaller team, you can afford to be more like we're bouncing off each other and we're all informing what this thing is, which is not to say that didn't happen on the Ouroboros Express, but there had to be more direction and more like guardrails put in place so people didn't feel completely lost throughout production. So I think that's what was needed. So I came up with the concept, and I was really I tried to really make sure that there was plenty of documentation that people could refer to, so that they never felt like they didn't know what they were doing as
Mm,
well. So, even down to like the ideation of like, okay, this is what the characters are meant to be, and our character experts filled them out, which meant that our artists could refer to that, and future writers could refer to them as well. Or just like a pretty strong like art direction, like Art Deco, very strong in
mm,
terms of like
mm,
a an art direction. So like all the artists knew what was up in that way as well. So yeah, I mean, I think for me as well, like the other definition I would put for like creative director is my job is to ensure that everyone is doing what they came here to do. It's not
mm,
to micromanage people, is
mm.
to give people support and give people direction and be like, go. Go. Here's the stuff that you need. Go.
You're primed to go in, go
Yeah,
in.
yeah, exactly. It feels like a really strategic role, because I was thinking about things like, even so our production was done in 2 week sprints. That was a very like conscious decision of like it feels like 2 weeks is right for everybody, because it fits in with the time that they're volunteering on this project outside of their like day jobs and like day-to-day life. It feels like 2 week sprint is also like a good amount of time where it's like not too long, where people are just gonna faff about and then like the last 3 days be like, shit, I have to do this thing. So
As someone in
even
those
things like that.
sprints,
Yeah.
as someone in the last 3 days, like, oh
Oh
man, I
man.
gotta, yeah,
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 I gotta
been
get
there.
it
Sorry,
together.
please continue.
Yeah, no. So it's just even thinking about like how people behave and how they're going to like relate to the project. I genuinely felt like a big part of my role as creative director was to help keep up the motivation for people, as well as giving people, like hyping them up and keeping them feeling like still really like positive and like good about and proud of like, the work they were doing for the project. Because I think as soon as people start thinking like, what's the point, like they start losing like the juice for the project, and they really don't give like what they want to give, and they just start like not investing in the project as well. So yeah, a really roundabout way of saying like I that's all of those things I felt were really important to me in this role.
Yeah, I think some things that stuck out with you with that is just strategy, a lot of
Hmm.
delegation, a lot of coordination,
Yeah.
the head producer brain,
Hmm.
and the motivation thing. I think like the health of the team is such a
Yeah.
critical part because not it's very difficult sometimes to find what motivates people and how to keep everyone like we can do this. Was there
Yeah.
ever a time in the project where you were just like, or what was your favorite moment where you motivated the team? Like you had your anime speech and everyone was like,
My
"We
speech
can do
jutsu.
this."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like
Powerful speech.
what were
I
you?
don't think I don't think there was any one moment. I
Okay.
actually really loved having like the team weeklies, because we would have
Mm,
weekly Tuesday meetings, evening for me and morning for a lot of you in the US time zone. And that was a really nice place for us to get together and be like, okay, what are the updates? What's happening? What's going on? Really lovely to see all of you. Be gone.
Hmm.
30 minute
Yeah,
30
like
minute
this was
meeting.
fun. Goofy, ha ha ha. Okay, leave. I think it was so jarring. First off, the Be Gone was also so jarring, and I just started doing that. Even in my like 9 to 5, I was like, "Well, this meeting was fun. Be gone. Have a good one." Vanished from this marketing realm, this corporate realm. Phew. But then also even funnier to realize, like, and that's another thing. Our team is international, so your evening, you had a whole day. You
Yeah.
tired, not just tired, tired.
Tired.
And we're all like sipping our coffee and we're here and you're just like, if I have 1 ounce of life to give you, it's to keep working. Don't stop. Love that.
Yeah,
So
but I mean, it's
yeah.
it's so like it's just nice to see people on like a like quick chat as well. Like, because since all of us are remote, it's really easy to feel a disconnect from other people, and those weekly meetings were a good opportunity to be like, I see you, hello everybody. That's really nice. I think in terms of like motivation, though, the stuff when that happens, I realize in this context is when people start seeing things like the art for the characters the
Yeah.
first time. That's so fun. Or when you start seeing like a cut of the game with the voices implemented. I remember when that
Hmm.
happened and everyone was like, "Oh
That's
my
true.
god, Urshu sounds so hot."
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's
uh,
really that's so true.
yeah,
And because like the vision is real.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
I think another thing, we're kind of balancing all these silos, right? We're balancing everyone doing
yeah.
their own thing in their own space when obviously
Totally.
a game is so hyper collaborative. So when
Hmm.
you see the thing I worked on is there,
Yeah,
all right, I gotta finish so I can see what's happening. And I completely agree.
yeah,
I think just showing off the vertical slices or just how things are updating is a
yeah,
really, really, really strong motivator. Because
yeah.
sometimes you can feel like, what if was this all for naught or what's going on?
Yeah, what was the point of me? Because like I think sometimes like I remember a lot of the writers were like, "Oh my god, I felt a bit tearful when I heard like this voice actor saying my lines and it was in the lines I'd written and they were in the game." I was like, "Yeah, you did that.
Yeah, look, Harry, there I am, there I am. Like,
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah,
No,
you
that's
totally did that."
absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
Carrie. Carrie was like over the
yeah,
moon seeing like some of her shoes lines and just seeing the character that they helped
yeah.
come into being. And it is, I know I was, I think it was a build. It was the build before all the music, the character music went in, and the character themes that I was working on. I would go in and I'm like playing through and I'm like, where is it? Where is it? I'm just like sprawling in the mouth, like where's my tunes? And then when I heard it for the first time, I was like, yeah, this is it.
I did that.
I'm gonna sit on this voice line. I'm gonna let it rock for a bit, and then we'll do something else. But no, that I completely agree. That
Mhm.
is a very fulfilling moment. And I think it's a really good way to help the team kind of come together.
Yeah.
So all in all, how do you feel like you've grown from this project?
Gosh, I've grown a lot. I've learned so much about game dev and even just like as a creative because I really feel like I have a such a greater appreciation for like indie games. I mean any game. I genuinely I feel like I keep saying this but I feel like oh it's a bit of a miracle every time a game gets finished, guys. Even finishing a game. Honestly, well done. Finishing that damn thing, getting it out the door. You've done it. You've shipped the game. I think for me personally, how I've grown is greater appreciation of all of the different disciplines that go into game dev. So I only had like a really fuzzy understanding, for example, went into sound and audio, the music side, but like after seeing all the work put into the voiceover production, seeing how like the sound team really transformed the game through sound alone. I've got such a deep respect and admiration for people who work in sound in games because it's one of those things where it's like when it's good, it disappears. It's like invisible to you, and you only really notice it when it's bad. Like sound design, right? But when it's good, you're just in it. It's underappreciated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I was really lucky, like as the director, to have this like bird's eye view of like the different disciplines working together. And yeah, it's such an appreciation for it. I've also gained such an appreciation for producers, because
Mm,
I would have to say, like,
mm.
without the producers on this project, I really don't know how we would have been able to have gotten things done, because they really do all of the invisible yet important work on game dev, like reminding people when stuff needs to get done, being like, hey, like, I'll take care of this boring thing so you can do the creative thing. Um, Shout out to Rachel as well. Like, strategy comes in. I think as a director, I knew that, like, my purpose and motivation was to, like, squeeze as much juice out of the resources, however limited they were, for this project. And Rachel's job was to tell me no at the opportune time. And Rachel was like, "That's crazy, scope wise. Please relax." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right, Rachel. You're so right."
You're so real for that, Rachel. Shout out to Rachel.
Shout out to
Shout
Rachel.
out to Rachel.
Really just, yeah, like,
Keeping us
really real
honest,
being.
keeping us real. Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, yeah, such an appreciation for, like, all of the hidden, invisible, behind the scenes work on game dev, because I feel like we sometimes, like, as a player, like, we definitely, like, worship and, like, really put recognition on, like, like, the artists, and, like, all of this very, like, visible parts of a game, which, of course, people should be like, yeah, they did amazing. But I think oftentimes the invisible parts of a game get they just kind of brushed under. They don't really get the recognition they deserve.
Yeah, I think it's a deeper one to your first point, deeper admiration to game dev overall. Like it's
Yeah.
really difficult to go online now, see a
Hmm.
complaint about the game, and
Yeah.
then be like, that's a valid take. Because I'm like, what was the scope for this? Like, what changes they had to make? There's probably stuff going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too mad at them. Give him a break. Come on now.
Yeah. Come
But
on.
then also with producers and like their
Hmm.
art of managing essentially human nature and resources, which is the
Yeah.
craziest brush and paint of them all.
Yeah.
Because
Oh yeah.
holy moly, like just seeing from our perspective, and I know I love looking at devlogs or behind the scenes, and I know they polish those videos up.
Hmm.
So I'm
Hmm.
like looking, I guess, like for the white spaces of like this was difficult, or yeah, of course they couldn't handle that server side. That makes complete sense. Why would
Yeah.
anyone want that?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I want my game to have a small, livable environment and it should be put on a whole new server and they should just update the engine. And I'm like, bro, you're not getting a game. You're
Yeah.
making a new game.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's a whole new project. Like.
That you need to relax. At least breathe a little bit, my friend. But yeah, no, a deeper admiration for a
Hmm.
lot of the games, a lot of the process because it's just so mind-boggling,
Yeah.
intricate it is, and like you said earlier, it's a miracle to have not only have a game released, but have something that feels like a coherent creative project that people can enjoy. Because I know for family and friends who play the game,
Hmm.
they first title screen, and they're like, oh, this is not just your average visual novel. And I think
No.
that's one of the best, one of my favorite things about this is not this ain't your mama's visual novel. This is something that has a bit of nothing's wrong with someone's mama, just saying. But like this one has a bit of this different little flavor, different little bit of magic on
Yeah.
it, that
Yeah.
I think is quite palatable to audience or detectable at least to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask you, what games do you dream of making? What's the far future crazy big scope Najma Salam game? And
Yeah.
then what's the I could do this. Like give me 5 months of prep time and I could do this game. I'm gonna be selfish and ask for two.
Okay, cool. I so the big, like, aspirational game that I would love to make in future is probably going to have something with voice acting in it, because I just loved how it totally transformed Oryx, for sure. It's definitely gonna have, like, amazing art on it as well, because I come from an art and design background. I am a visual design girly. And I love, like, a striking art direction, like, even some of my favorite films are like the art direction's amazing. So definitely something with those elements. In terms of, like, what kind of game it will be, I think definitely something that hooks you in with the story. Because I always go for, like, a story rich game. But I'm really moving more towards, like, the story doesn't have to be people gabbing at each other. It doesn't have to be people yapping in a room together. It can be done through environmental storytelling. It can be done through all manner of ways, and I really love to make a game that like explores all the different ways that you can learn about the setting that you're in through exploring a game that you can only do in a game and not like
Hmm.
in a movie or like any other medium as. So I think it has those elements, but as to what it is, I have no idea. We'll have to learn
That's
more and get
live
there.
to the future to see it. Cruise right
Yeah,
through the time stream. I like that.
yeah, definitely. In terms of like a smaller games, I do have this idea I'm working on, which is my Mothman dress up game.
Mm,
You are a stylist and you have to dress up Mothman. Will I elaborate more on it? No, there's no more explanation. That's what the game is. It's a
love it.
dress up game and you have to dress up Mothman. What
Let's
can we
go.
say?
I love that. I want it now. I am ready. I think with both of these ideas, my
Yeah,
first thought, I know I'm like documentation wise,
yeah.
I'm like, oh, how are they gonna handle like the narrative? Oh, I wonder what the visual direction.
Yeah.
What spreadsheet? What's the format of these spreadsheets? Yeah. What background music do I have? Does it?
Yeah, exactly.
What outfits are we doing? The biggest is there. Are we getting Mothman ready for the gala? Are we getting
Yeah.
Mothman ready for the 9 to 5? I'm intrigued. Why is Mothman? Why does Mothman trust me? You're already such
Exactly.
an enigmatic figure. Why me?
Why me? Why have I been chosen and blessed by
Who have
Mothman?
been chosen blessed by you, Mothman? Reveal your mothy ways.
Exactly. Exactly. And
Oh my
that's the stuff I
gosh.
love. It's just absurd and silly and goofy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am excited for it. I cannot wait to see whatever our dearest Mothman. Is there anything else you want to tell the good people at home about, like yourself or the Ouroboros Express,
Hmm.
where they can find you?
Well, where can they find me? They can find me on my website, najmaslam.com. Very easy, very straightforward. As far as the Ouroboros Express, I mean, come on, you have to watch the devlogs. We talked to several people in the team,
Joy.
yourself included. I
Hello.
think you'll find it really interesting if you've played the game, and then to watch the devlogs
Mm,
after, because hopefully it'll illuminate more about the whole process.
mm, mm.
And yeah, I mean, it's available both on Steam and itch, and it's incredibly exciting because I listen, we get reviews on Steam, right? And even the negative ones, I'm like, you played the game.
You had
Thank
time to
you.
hate on me, on little old me?
Thank you
You
so much for
shouldn't have.
playing. Exactly.
Oh my God. Hater high.
Yeah, exactly. You played the game. That's amazing. So like it's really funny. Like I thought I would feel more defensive maybe or like protective over the game in that way. Honestly, all I anytime someone mentions the Ouroboros Express, positive, negative, it's something in the middle, I'm like, thank you.
But you're thinking about me, and that's where I win.
That's
Absolutely.
I've won already,
I've
okay?
won already. Every comment gives me power. I don't
Exactly.
care. And I love looking at the reviews for the game because some of
Yeah.
them they're all so absurd. So I love the photos of Darius falling out of my pocket one because
Yeah. So
very and
cute.
highly relatable. Yes. My do it for Darius is like this little
Yeah.
cork word.
That
Do
people
it for
can't
him.
see it, but it's behind your like
Well, yeah,
computer screen.
it's
Yeah.
literally right there. It's literally right there. But how else could I do this podcast? But all in all, definitely want to thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
This has been another of many episodes for Small and Studios little podcast named
Yeah.
Pending. And I'm Armani Boone. This is Nash Masalam, and have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.